Hey everybody, Ethan, yet again. For those of you who don't know me, and for those of you who do, I'm still Ethan. I know, even after all these years. Anyways, today I wanted to touch on a different subject. I guess that's kind of a given. But the subject that I wanted to touch on today was about gratitude, I suppose. And living a life of gratitude, right? I know a lot of times it can become kind of difficult to really appreciate the little things, right? I've been a victim of that, where you get so caught up in all of the things going on in your life that you kind of lose sight of what's important. And then even when you are aware of the things that are important, it still becomes rather difficult to be appreciative of them because of everything that's going on and how overwhelming the feelings that correspond with the things going on can be. And so, I'd obviously be conscious of the fact and have to remind myself every day that I'm alive. I have a roof over my head. I have clothes. I have food. I should be grateful. As long as you're above ground, you should be grateful, right? But it becomes difficult to see that when you become so engulfed by your mind and the things that are going on in there, your thoughts and your emotions. But I don't think I feel that way as much anymore. It's become a little bit, I won't say it's completely eradicated, but it's become a little bit easier to not feel so overwhelmed by everything else that I lose sight of those things. I genuinely woke up today and just felt grateful to be alive, right? That's not to say that I didn't have my thoughts. Of course I have my thoughts, I have my emotions, I experience them every day, as does anyone else. But I woke up and just genuinely felt glad that I'm still here. I went to work and I spoke to a customer and I asked him how his day was going, and he said that it was, that it was great. He asked me how my day was going, and I said, honestly, I don't know, right? Because I don't really know. These days, it's kind of hard for me to answer that question. I find myself very frequently in kind of a neutral state where I kind of feel as though I'm on the edge of either way. I could be very good, or I could be on the edge of feeling awful. But I guess I'm just kind of in a constant state of neutrality where I'm on the edge constantly, right? And I don't really fault myself for that, because I know the journey that I'm on, and I'm aware of the fact that I'm human. I'm gonna have feelings, I'm gonna have thoughts, and it's okay to validate them, and it's okay to experience them. You just can't really let them rule over you. I'm conscious of that. So I just told this customer, I don't know, but at least I'm above ground. At least I'm alive. I woke up today. And that in and of itself is such a blessing, because especially these days, you genuinely never know, right? There are so many people my age and older who go to sleep not knowing that that's the last time they're ever gonna do that. That's the last time they're ever gonna experience consciousness. And when I had my fear of death, I will say that there have been a couple of moments sporadically, spread out along the timeline of my life. But I would say maybe a few months back, I had a really, really bad existential episode where I was panicking and freaking out, and I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't close my eyes even, because it's just terrified me, the thought of death. The thought that I could be conscious 1 minute and then the next not. I was terrified of the idea that I could get to be alive and experience all this beauty and all this love and all this life, and that the next minute, without it even being my choice, it could be taken from me. Just like that, But I suppose now I've reached a point where I can understand that that's why it's all so beautiful, and that's why you need to really sit there and appreciate all of it. Every little instance, every little fleeting emotion, even the negative ones, are beautiful because you're feeling them. You're alive and you're feeling. And that is just such a phenomenal thing to get to experience, especially because there are so many who don't get to anymore. So I know it's hard, but it's imperative that you try to allow yourself, one, to just feel, and two, to really be grateful for the fact that you can feel. Because being able to experience that, being able to feel, being able to see, being able to smell, hear, taste, or even if you can't do all of those things, I know there are people who are impaired, but just being able to experience life to any extent is beautiful. I genuinely can't even begin to fathom how much it would suck if this were all taken away from me. And of course, there's also the argument that I wouldn't really know because I would be dead, so I wouldn't feel it anyways. But in that regard, I think it also just makes it all the more special that I am alive and I do get to experience that and feel it. Like even feeling the fear of death. I have reached a place where now that fear of death, when I do experience it, I am kind of grateful for that feeling as well, because it means that I'm alive, and that the fear of death means that I feel I have something worth living for. And as you may or may not know, if you watched one or more of my previous videos, there were points in my life where I didn't feel that way, where I wanted to take my own life. So it's amazing to me that I feel like I have a reason to live now. I feel like I have something worth living for. I don't want to get off of this ride. I don't want this roller coaster to end. And I call it a roller coaster because that's what it is. Life is a roller coaster. You have bad moments, you have your ups and downs, twists and turns, whatever. But I'm just so grateful that I get to experience it at all. Because I know I would hate myself if I didn't allow myself to. And that's why sometimes when I look back, that's the only thing I get upset about, is the thought that I even tried to take this away from myself. I'm grateful for life. And I feel as though everyone who is alive, to some extent, should be grateful that they're alive as well. I know it can be rough. Everyone's situation is different. Everyone's experiences and traumas are different. I get that. And I apologize sincerely for anyone who's going through something that I don't understand, that I haven't been through. But that doesn't take away from the fact that you are breathing. You are a byproduct of the universe attempting to experience and understand itself. And that should be more than enough for you to just really sit there and think to yourself, like, dude, I'm alive. I get to see, I get to feel, I get to experience love and food and music and just everything that life entails. I can't imagine anything else that I could be grateful more than this. I don't know if I said that right, but whatever. You get my point. So yeah. I feel like everyone just is always trying so hard to make sense of life, to understand life, when it's not for you to understand. It's not for you to make sense out of, because it's so much bigger than any of us can make sense of or understand. That's the whole point. You can find your purpose. You can find your reason to live. But stop trying to make sense of all of this, because when you really think about it, it doesn't make sense. None of it makes sense. All you have to do, all you should be responsible for, is feeling it. Just feel it. Just live it. Experience it. And I hope that when the day comes that you do finally get to rest, that you look back and you don't regret a single part of it. That you look back and you do feel grateful for all of it. Even the bad parts. I'm not just speaking to the people watching this video. If there are any people watching this video, I'm speaking to myself as well. Because I need it just as much as anyone else. But yeah. We're above the ground. That's crazy. We're still here. It's wild. So yeah, there are going to be bad moments. But there are going to be good moments too. Be grateful. As always, if you feel the need to talk or have anything you want to share, or if you're feeling miserable, angry, depressed, lonely, any range of emotions, honestly, if you just want someone to listen, I'm here. You can reach out to me through any of the social media links in my description below. I'll always respond, day or night, rain or shine, 24/7, 365. You are not alone. You're never alone. Peace.